Hey, what is up guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toy Superheroes, and today we're going to be doing the top 5 gaming mouse under $10 on Amazon.
But before we get into that, let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
This video is brought to you by us in our 100,000 subscriber giveaway where we're giving away an RTX 2080 and a gaming computer. So check the link in the description down below to enter the giveaway. It's pretty simple. Now, on to today's video.
So as Jackson mentioned, we have the top 5 gaming mice on Amazon that you can buy, and if you're interested in buying them, use the link in the description down below. What we're going to be doing is diving into more specifics with these mice, because recently we did a video about the top 5 gaming keyboards under $20, and we kind of just briefly gave our first impressions. There wasn't a lot of this is what it comes with and more detailed information, but in this video, we decided from feedback from you guys and our manager, Zach, to give a more detailed overview with the actual weight, the slide distance, and even talk more about the specs like DPI and maybe what kind of sensor it is if the box will actually tell us.
So as far as the weight testing goes, that was really simple. We just threw it on a scale, put it on the gram setting, and pretty accurate readings each time. And then right over there on our test bench, we actually set up basically one of those extended mouse pads. We kind of built a makeshift ramp and then started the mice off at the same spot each time and then literally just let go so that it was a controlled test. The only really problem we had with variants was some of the longer mice, or some that are built like the Titanic, when they hit the flat spot, it kind of nicked into the mouse pad and slowed it down a little bit. Anyways, it's not the best test, but you get an idea on which one did slide further than the others, and we'll see if that's consistent when we actually play a game with it, if it slides really well or not.
So let's go ahead and dive into the first mouse.
So this is the Lynne Root mouse, and to get more specific, it's the Lynne Root Laser Gaming ... S and Office. So this is new, made in China. And there is very, very limited things in here. We have a thanks for your purchase. Looks like some New York right there. And then we do actually have some instructions, maybe not. Okay, yep, we do. We have instructions. So obviously it's an optical sensor. We have, it looks like a 4-setting DPI. It actually has a color breathing light effect. Excited to see that. We have 6 function keys. That includes left and right button, and then we have the scroll, we have forwards and backwards. So 2 macros essentially on the side that you could program. So yeah, this one's pretty basic. It came in at 116 grams, and it is ugly. Unless you like, if you like chrome, you know, this is a really cool mouse for you because it is very chromed out. As far as like slide goes, this one does have a real, I mean, you can see I'm just kind of batting it and it really slides. And from our slide test, we got 2.5 inches, which is kind of like a medium range compared to the other mice. This one is one of those Titanic mice I was talking about though. It's very long. It's a really lengthy mouse. And so now let's just go ahead and get like a little sound test here. So I'm gonna kind of hold it up to my lav mic that I think is right here. It's clicky, it's mechanical. I'm just kidding. We don't really know what switches are in these because we don't want to do like all the research. It's $10 mice, but it's pretty clicky. It's not squishy, it's not soft. The scroll wheel doesn't really has a creaky noise to it.
Kind of nasty.
Yeah, it has the same exact click on the center wheel. So, you know, what do you expect? Well, let's go ahead and plug it in and see how she does. So this is just us changing the DPI. So right now we're on like supersonic speed, like I'm barely moving it. So now it looks like we're on like the slower speed now, or slowest speed. But like I said, it slides pretty well on the mouse pad. The cord is braided, so this is a braided cable. I kind of forgot to mention that earlier. It's a pretty nice looking USB plug as well. I mean, it's kind of janky looking, but it's not basic, so that's cool. So let's go ahead and launch up a game of CS:GO. So we just came straight into this game with Negev. I'm actually gonna bump the sensitivity up a little bit, so that's a little bit better. This is, you know, good enough that it does have a DPI switch, which is nice. I think all of these should, So this is not a mouse for you if you're on like the lighter side of things. There's really only one mouse that we have that's gonna be on the lighter side. Every single mouse is fairly heavy, so. But yeah, I mean, it works. It does what a mouse should do. I'm not the biggest fan just based on how long it is. That's really my biggest complaint. It is insanely long. Like, I feel like I need to have like extendo fingers to use this mouse properly. So yeah, you know, let's just see if we can get a kill. Oh, I almost got a kill.
Got lit up, dude.
This gun's set. What am I using? Oh, the Nova. Oh, I got an auto, don't worry.
Hey.
All right, headshot, end it off. And now I got killed.
Okay, so next up we have another cardboard box special. This is the Ling Jie gaming mouse, MES and Office. You know, it's the same concept. But this one right here is one of the lighter mice that we actually tested. It's not the lightest, but it's one of the lighter ones. And we open it up right here, and we can look inside. This has the same kind of chrome design as the last mouse, but it's kind of a glossy finish. The mouse itself is another one of those really long mice. In terms of specs on this thing, we have 4 adjustable DPI levels, so 1 less than the actual one that was before. We don't get an actual information on what DPI it is, but you know, we'll see when we actually test it. And there is 4 circular breathing LED lights, which is interesting, I guess. And it's a wired mouse used for games and office. So, I mean, we're not getting a whole lot of information from this mouse. It does not come with a braided cable, which for some people I've heard is actually a good thing because it's a little bit lighter. But in terms of quality, it's not the most promising. Regarding the weight, as I mentioned, this thing comes in at 112 grams. At 112 grams, it's definitely not a light mouse compared to some of the popular light mice coming out on the market. But, you know, it's not overly heavy to where this isn't a bad option for somebody who wants a lighter mouse. In the slide test, it actually did very well at 3.25 inches. Again, variable here with the whole ramp that we have. It's not the greatest test in the world, but so you can see actual numbers on the slide. You can see what happened right here. It did okay. As far as the click goes, let's get a little sound test real quick. It's definitely not as loud as the other one. It feels pretty mushy. There's not a whole lot of bump to the click, which some people like to feel. Programmable buttons on the side are very nasty and mushy. There's literally no click to it whatsoever. The scroll wheel is a lot smoother, so if you like a smooth scroll wheel, this could be a good option. And the DPI button, you can hear that for yourself. It's pretty bad. But how about we just go ahead and plug this thing up and see what it looks like and then try some CSGO. Okay, so as you can tell with the mouse plugged up, it kind of has the same like pulsating in and out effect as the other mouse we tested. The DPI button does the same thing. When you change the DPI, it does change the color just to show that you're actually changing the DPI, but then it just goes back to cycling between the colors. So, you know, RGB lovers, you got this. If you hate RGB, might not be the best option for you because it does have LEDs and I don't think you can actually turn them off. Let's get an op. We ain't messing around, dude. Auto's off. So the scroll wheel is actually, it's very smooth, but almost doesn't feel like you're really getting like any sort of actuation. Like if you're just trying to scroll once, it feels kind of weird. It feels like one of those endless scroll wheels. There we go.
Channeling the op god, which you all started.
But I mean, in terms of DPI, again, as I mentioned, this feels a little bit higher than I'm normally used to. But it is definitely usable. It doesn't feel very uncomfortable to have to do any sort of lift off with it, which I normally do. Again, the scroll wheel really throws me off. If you're someone who uses the scroll wheel a lot and you just do like slight adjustments, I don't know, it really throws me off and doesn't feel like something that I would like, especially since I use the scroll wheel a lot in a game like this where you're switching guns a lot faster. So as you can tell, the cable actually comes out from the side here. I don't know if that's a smart thing or kind of a bad thing. I feel like it's gonna cause the cable like it's doing to crimp up and kind of get in the way. So be sure if you leave a lot of extra slack on this mouse to like tie it down because it tends to like crawl over top of your mouse while you're playing. So that's something definitely to keep in mind, but let's just see. Oh, all right, one more run. This is it. I only have 10 seconds anyways. Hello? Oh, no. 10 seconds, one more kill. No. 5, 4, 3, 2.
That was a chicken.
No. It didn't work. Okay, so overall, mouse is okay. Yeah, let's go on to the next one.
So this is the Jessamyn 7D gaming mouse, T60. I don't know what I guess it's the T60 model, but it's a 7D gaming mouse. And I assume that the 7 is because it probably has 7. Yeah, we have 7 buttons, 7 clickies on it. And there's a little bit of information. We have 4 different DPIs. This one actually goes from 1200 to 3200, which is a little bit higher than some of the other ones. We have the firepower button. So we do have a braided cable. We have a really nice looking USB dongle. And you know what? This mouse is fat. So unlike the Titanic mice, this one is more of an elephant or buffalo mouse because it is quite wide, but it's not super long. So This one does actually have a really, really nice ergonomic feel, if I'm being honest. For some reason, the side, it being as low and flat as it is, kind of feels good on the thumb, which is weird. I would have thought it would feel kind of bad. Here we have DPI. It actually has a little picture of a running man on it, and we'll have LED indicators to show what DPI we're at. This is a big upgrade from the other mice. We have the forward and back button, you know, left and right click. The scroll wheel is kind of atrocious. Each individual click laid out, like I can feel it clicking, I can tell I'm scrolling. There's no variation like the last mouse that we had tested. So we'll go ahead and get some of the clicky sounds. Left and right click, pretty nice, pretty nice. Center click, about the same. Scroll wheel. See, it's quiet, but you can feel it. It's actually switching the fire button. And ooh, side buttons are weird. They're both different. I don't like it. So this one actually had the most slide of all of our mice. So this one just really glides, and it actually really does glide. I mean, I'm like, wow. Yeah, so this one does glide really well. We had 3.5 inches of glide, but this one does weigh a ton. It weighs 120 grams, and we have one other mouse that'll weigh that, which you'll see in a minute, and it says, please remove protective finish film before use. This one did come with film on the actual pads, which shows they take care in their pads. So let's go ahead and hook it up over here and see how she looks. So I take back what I said. This mouse sucks. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't suck, but these are not like individual LED lights. It's just for show, apparently. I don't know why they did that because it's kind of misleading, but this is changing the DPI and it literally just changes the color. I would have thought it would have like filled each bar up as you went up or down in sensitivity, which it almost looks like it does, but don't be fooled. So, all right, yeah, off the bat, this mouse does slide like extremely well. That's like the first thing I'm noticing. And it has liftoff, like big liftoff distance. Like, I don't know if you can show this, Matt. I'm not even on the mouse pad right now. And I'm able to move it. Most mice you really can't do that with. I do lift the mouse up, and as I'm lifting it up, I'm still moving the mouse, which maybe that's a good thing for some people, but I'm not a huge fan. You know, but overall though, I do feel like I'm doing better with this mouse, but it feels more wandery, which I'm not a fan of. I feel the guy right here. Oh, there was two of them. I should have smelled both of them. So yeah, I mean, overall, this mouse, I do feel like I'm doing better with it. It could just be because I'm more warmed up now, but I don't know. It is very fluid. When it's on the trackpad, it's an extremely fluid mouse. I don't feel like I'm like missing anything. The wide grip is actually kind of growing on me a little bit. But at the same time, my biggest complaint, and I don't know if this is a good thing or not, I would have to do some research, but is the liftoff. I lift the mouse up barely. Like, I can play the game without even touching the mouse pad, which I don't feel like is correct. But hey, maybe for some people, this is a good feature.
Okay, so this one right here is the Shawn Wu, I'm totally probably butchering that, Dazzle Color gaming mouse. Now this thing, as you can tell, has the razzle dazzle. So we're gonna go ahead and open this thing up. This one actually came in at only 92 grams. So it's the lightest mouse that we have tested today, and it's definitely noticeable. The mouse itself comes with a braided cable, blue for some reason. It comes with 4 DPI levels, which actually goes down to 800, so people like me do appreciate that. A return rate of 100 hertz, and then all the basic information. Supports USB 1.0 if you're interested in that. And it does have a double-sided rolling scroll wheel, basic stuff. Compatible types, sports games. So you can't play it with anything other than a sports game, just letting you know. In terms of extra buttons, we have the back and forwards button and the DPI switch, which just says DPI. Actually says CPI. I don't know if that's
clicks per inch.
Clicks per inch, maybe. I don't know. The scroll wheel looks like it actually is transparent, so there might be some RGB on the scroll wheel. But let's do the clicky test with the actual left and right button. Right up on there, dude. But in terms of actual clicks, sounds pretty solid. I mean, it kind of has a little tinniness to it. The actual side buttons, up and down arrow, are
better.
Pretty good too. It's not as mushy. It really isn't mushy at all. It's not like the first one where you could just push it all the way into the mouse. And then the DPI button, not the greatest, but I mean, I don't expect much from a DPI button. Scroll wheel, this is much better than some of the other ones because you can actually feel what you're doing a little better, and it's not super smooth. It's not like the MX Master when you turn on the ultimate slider mode. You know, doesn't have that feature built in. Now, in terms of slide, this one did really awful, and you can actually hear this. It's literally scraping on our table. I like feel really bad doing this right now. It actually just is plastic that's raised to make it slide. So there really are no feet on it, just plastic. So if that tells you anything about using it on a hard surface, is you probably shouldn't do it. Maybe it'll feel a little bit better on the mouse pad. I don't know, but it only got 1.5 inches in our slide test, which is really low, but not as low as the last mouse we're about to talk about. But let's go ahead and plug this thing up and see this nice lighting effect. Okay, so it's plugged up. I take back what I said. This thing does not look that good at all. I mean, the lighting doesn't even fill out entirely. It's like one LED right here and then two maybe right here. I thought it'd be really cool if it like filled all the cracks, but you know. Overall, I think right now I'm actually on the, yeah, that's a very high DPI. So we'll try to scroll to what feels like 800 maybe. Yep, that's 800 right there. So that's 800 DPI. Okay, so here we are in a bot deathmatch because for some reason CSGO went offline. Not sure what that's all about, but my worries about this mouse were definitely true. The slide, just listen to that. That's horrible. That's horrible. It's just literally like scratching my mouse pad up, you know? If you value your mouse pad, you probably don't want to use this thing. But we are playing against some bots, so let's see if I can kill them. I mean, the clicks and everything feel really good. I just think the thing that's gonna hold this mouse back is the fact that it doesn't have any sort of glide feed. I mean, in theory, you could get some glides off like Amazon, but it's a $10 mouse. You really won't want to invest any more money because I'm assuming you don't have any more money if you're buying a $10 mouse. So it's probably not worth investing to, and this thing isn't nothing to write home about. Hey,
You got the Juan
yeah, killed by a bot. But I would just venture to say this is probably one of the more disappointing mice. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
And here is our last flagship gaming mouse. So this is the Klim AIM RGB backlit gaming mouse. This one does have the nicest boxes and it's bigger than all the other boxes. This one actually names the switches. It actually has Omron switches. We have a gaming grade scroll wheel, adjustable DPI, but it does not say on the box how many different settings there are. And this one actually does have like a grip on the side that's kind of like a leather looking anti-slip grip and pro gaming surface. So, you know, let's just go ahead and get into this one. One thing I would like to point out as well is this mouse on Amazon, if you look right now, there's a good chance it's not gonna be $7.99 like we paid for it. We have proof that we paid that for it though. It might have been a glitch or something, but right now, this mouse is $20. So that is like way too expensive, but we're gonna rate it just like the other ones though. It could be a lot better, it could be a lot worse. As far as weight goes, this is not anything to write home about because it weighs 120 grams. That is another mouse that we just did the review of actually weighed the same amount. And just like that other one is another kind of thick mouse that's not super long. And I can be honest, so this one does feel like it has a better build quality to it because of the weight, and it feels less like plasticky. But yeah, I mean, it does look nicer. It does have these nice grips on the side that do feel pretty well. We have two basic Teflon sliding pads in the back that are pretty much in, you know, central locations that most mice would have. And it does actually slide pretty well. This one had the worst slide test though. We think it's a combination of the weight and the fact that because of how low this cable is with our slide test, we think the cable was digging into the mat at the last second. So really can't blame the slide test for that because this mouse actually does have really good slide to it on the table. And it's not like the last mouse. It's not super scratchy, and so overall this mouse does have a higher quality feel to it. So we'll go ahead and get some clickies. Omron. So that's left and right click. We have center scroll wheel. Has the same setup. That's a really nice click. Very easy to tell when you're scrolling. There's no ifs, ands, or buts there. Side buttons are kind of nasty. You can push them into the mouse once again, like the first ones, but they're not really gross. Like they have a very short travel like macro should. DPI button, yeah, sounds about the same as a scroll wheel. So it does seem to have some higher quality buttons to it. And you know, that's pretty much all there is to talk about. Let's just see how it games. So look at that. This is the first mouse to have an actual RGB fluctuating effect, and it's smooth. It goes all the way through the whole cycle. It's really fast. So I don't know if there's a way to change that. Maybe not. There could be softwares too. We never did see if there's any softwares. I highly doubt it with any of these. This one could, but still doubtful. The mouse, like I said, it does weigh just as much as that one mouse does, but it has a nicer feel to it. So, you know, like I said, it is a heavier mouse. It's on the heavier side, which I'm kind of oblivious to. I don't really care how much the mouse weighs personally. I'm just not that into it. Dude, this guy's so about to get... that's so upsetting. Yeah, I mean, it seems to have increased my gamer level tenfold, so maybe the extra $10 is worth it. If you are playing games, this is a better mouse. Now, is it worth double the price? I don't know, because it's one of those things where there's some features on it that I don't feel like are much better, although I am just racking up kills. It might just be the best mouse in the world. But as far as like the feel and like how everything works, it's not really much better than the other mice that we tested. So just, you know, take it lighthearted that it cost more. Keep in mind you're kind of paying for the RGB, and if that's something you're into, then hey, this mouse is a great budget.
All right, guys, so after doing the testing on all these mice, I guess the conclusion is they're not all that great. You're paying $10 for a mouse, and in some cases $20 with the mess up with this one, but you're not getting a whole lot in return. For sure, with the one that I tested, the Dazzle mouse had literally no sliding pads whatsoever. It was just straight plastic, so you had really no control. It was just scratchy the entire time, and overall, I just wasn't all that impressed.
And then also the Hawkman mouse, my main really like upset with this one was the fact that the lift-off distance, like you could lift that mouse 10 feet in the air and it still tracked. So I wasn't a fan of that, even being a person that doesn't really lift my mouse much since my sensitivity is so high.
If we had to choose our favorite mouse, we'd probably have to go with the Ling Jie mouse. It's not as ugly as the other ones. It had decent slide compared to the rest. And the only major trade-off with this mouse, in our opinion, is the scroll wheel. It's not that great. The braided cable also is a downside for some people, but lack thereof. But if we had to say the best value mouse, we'd have to say this one. We really did consider the Klim, but the fact that it's now at $20 and we don't know if it's gonna go back to being $7.99 really makes it hard to recommend, because you're paying double the money, and really, even if it was $7.99, it would still be competing with all these mice that are definitely always gonna be under $10. So we would have to give the victory to the Ling Jie. But as always, take our advice with a grain of salt. There's going to be trade-offs with any mice you get under $10.
So as always, we hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.